The Battle of Keresztes, fought on October 26, 1596, stands as a pivotal moment in the long war between the Ottoman Empire and the Habsburg monarchy. This clash, near the village of Keresztes in Hungary, witnessed the might of two empires collide. The outcome would have long-lasting consequences for the balance of power in Europe. The Ottomans, led by Sultan Mehmed III, sought to expand their dominion further into Europe. The Habsburgs, under the command of Archduke Maximilian, aimed to halt the Ottoman advance and reclaim lost territories. The stage was set for a monumental battle that would shape the destiny of nations. The initial clash saw fierce skirmishes as both sides tested each other's strength. Historical records and letters from the battlefield reveal the strategic planning and intense preparations that preceded the battle. The Battle of Keresztes would become a defining moment, remembered for its scale and the bravery of those who fought. The aftermath of the battle reshaped the political landscape of Europe, influencing the course of history for years to come. The decades leading up to Keresztes were marked by escalating tensions and skirmishes between the Ottomans and the Habsburgs. The Ottomans, under Sultan Murad III, had achieved significant victories, expanding their empire deep into the Balkans. The Habsburgs, however, were determined to resist the Ottoman advance. In 1593, the Ottomans laid siege to the strategic fortress of Eger in Hungary. Despite a valiant defense by the Habsburg forces, Eger fell to the Ottomans. This victory further emboldened the Ottomans and raised alarms within the Habsburg court. A large-scale confrontation was becoming inevitable. Both sides began to strategize for the impending clash, with the Ottomans aiming to consolidate their gains and the Habsburgs seeking to reclaim lost territories. The Ottomans mobilized a massive army, while the Habsburgs called upon their allies and fortified their positions. As both armies moved towards Keresztes, the stage was set for a decisive battle that would shape the future of the region. Both sides faced significant challenges as they prepared for the inevitable clash of arms. The Ottomans, while possessing a powerful and experienced army, had to contend with the logistical difficulties of campaigning far from their capital in Constantinople. Supplying a vast army across vast distances proved a daunting task. The Habsburgs, on the other hand, faced internal divisions and a lack of unity among the various European princes who had pledged support for the campaign. Raising a sufficient force to match the Ottoman numbers would prove problematic for the Habsburg commanders. The Ottomans also faced harsh weather conditions, which further strained their supply lines and morale. Meanwhile, the Habsburgs struggled with disagreements over strategy and leadership, causing delays and confusion. Both sides had to deal with the constant threat of disease, which could decimate their ranks before they even reached the battlefield. The Habsburgs, marching through difficult terrain, found it challenging to keep their forces well supplied and motivated. Despite these trials and tribulations, both armies pressed on, driven by the promise of glory and the weight of their respective empires. On October 26, 1596, the two armies clashed near the village of Keresztes. The Ottomans, deploying their forces in a crescent formation, heavily bombarded the Christian center. The Habsburg forces, though outnumbered, fought with determination, their cannons responding to the Ottoman artillery. The initial Habsburg assault, led by Hungarian cavalry, met with some success, managing to push back elements of the Ottoman left flank. However, the Ottomans, under the command of the experienced Grand Vizier Sigalizade Yusuf Sinan Pasha, held their ground. The Ottoman infantry advanced with discipline, their ranks unwavering despite the fierce resistance. Habsburg pikemen formed a defensive line, engaging in brutal close combat to hold their position. The Ottomans executed a flanking maneuver with their cavalry, aiming to encircle the Habsburg forces. In response, Habsburg commanders quickly regrouped their forces, rallying their men to counter the Ottoman flanking attack. The battlefield descended into chaos, with both sides locked in a desperate struggle for supremacy. The course of the battle shifted dramatically when a contingent of Habsburg troops, believing a premature victory was at hand, broke ranks and surged forward to loot the Ottoman camp. This unforeseen disarray in the Habsburg ranks provided the Ottomans with an unanticipated advantage. Sultan Mehmed III, initially hesitant to engage in battle, seized upon the opportunity presented by the Habsburg disorder. Unleashing his elite Janissary corps, the Ottomans launched a devastating counterattack that shattered the advancing Habsburg forces. The Ottoman cavalry, seeing the disarray, charged with ferocity, further compounding the chaos within the Habsburg ranks. Habsburg commanders, in a desperate attempt to regain control, tried to rally their troops, but the momentum had shifted irreversibly. Ottoman artillery added to the devastation, raining down upon the disorganized Habsburg forces, forcing them into a full retreat. Sultan Mehmed III, observing the battlefield, saw his forces secure a decisive victory, turning the tide of the battle in favor of the Ottomans. The Habsburg forces, caught off guard by the ferocity of the Ottoman counterattack, were routed. Archduke Maximilian narrowly escaped capture, fleeing the battlefield with only a handful of his retainers. The Ottoman victory was complete. The Battle of Keresztes had a profound impact on European politics. The Ottoman victory solidified their hold over Hungary and dashed Habsburg hopes of reclaiming lost territory. Though the long war would continue for decades, Keresztes marked a high point of Ottoman power and influence in Eastern Europe. The defeat forced European powers to reconsider their strategies and alliances, leading to a series of diplomatic maneuvers. The Ottomans fortified their positions, while the Habsburgs and their allies regrouped, setting the stage for future confrontations. The battle's aftermath saw a flurry of treaty signings and border adjustments, reshaping the political landscape of Europe.